Have you ever wondered why kind-hearted people, those who love deeply, sincerely, and purely, often seem to suffer the most in relationships? Why is it that those with the most gentle souls are the ones who carry the deepest wounds? It might seem unfair at first glance, but what if heartbreak isn't a punishment, but a sacred training ground for something greater? In today's video, we'll take a heartfelt journey through the timeless wisdom of the ancients to uncover why emotional struggles often fall upon the shoulders of those with the greatest spiritual blessings. This isn't just about love. It's about the soul's evolution, about learning to heal, to let go, and to rise stronger, more radiant, and more compassionate than ever before. If you're someone who's ever felt like your love wasn't returned the way you gave it, or if you've carried silent heartbreaks that others couldn't see, then this message might just be the reminder your soul has been waiting for. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's explore together. Because what feels like an ending might actually be a blessing in disguise. Love at its core is not simply a sweet emotion. It is one of the most profound spiritual teachers we will ever encounter. It arrives gently, sometimes unexpectedly, wrapping us in warmth and connection, only to test us in ways we never saw coming. The truth is, emotional pain isn't here to break us, it's here to shape us. It asks us to let go of what was never truly ours and to learn how to treasure what truly matters, not with possession, but with presence. When a love ends, it might feel like your world is falling apart, but what if, instead, it's falling into place? A broken heart doesn't mean you've lost. It might mean you've been set free to find who you really are without the illusions. For those who love deeply, life often feels heavier because they don't just love with their minds, they love with their entire being. And when that love isn't returned, the pain is deeper, but so is the transformation. These wounds, if honored and not buried, become the soil from which self-love can finally grow. The teachings of many spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, remind us that suffering isn't a detour. It's part of the path. And sometimes it takes a heart broken open for the light to finally pour in. In that sense, love is not the destination. It's the journey that calls us to evolve, again and again, into a softer, stronger version of who we truly are. Sometimes the very thing we think is breaking us is actually remaking us. Loss doesn't always arrive as punishment. It can be life's subtle way of redirecting us towards something better, something more aligned with who we're meant to become. The truth is, not all love is meant to stay. Some people are only meant to walk with us for a chapter, not the whole story. And when they leave, yes, it hurts, but it also opens up space for healing, space for someone better, or even more importantly, space for you to rediscover your own worth. From a Buddhist perspective, impermanence is the nature of all things. Everything that arises will pass away, and that includes relationships, emotions, and even our pain. But hidden within that truth is a gift, liberation. Sometimes, losing someone is not a step backward, it's a step into freedom. You may not see it now, but the pain you're feeling is chiseling you into someone wiser, more compassionate, and more present. So don't curse the heartbreak. Don't doubt your path. Instead, trust that this suffering is shaping you for a deeper, more resilient kind of love, the kind that doesn't depend on others to feel whole. When the heart breaks, it doesn't end the journey. It simply marks the beginning of a new one where your happiness no longer lives in someone else's hands. Let go of the tiny stings, the random words that disturbed your peace, the fleeting disappointments, and focus on the bigger picture. Because when you look back one day, you may realize that losing something wasn't a loss at all. It was the exact moment you began to awaken. Every day that passes is a page turned in the book of your life, one you can never rewrite. Time doesn't pause for our pain or wait for us to be ready. It flows, quiet and relentless, like a river that never looks back. And yet, most of us live as if we have forever, postponing our joy, delaying love, and ignoring the quiet beauty of the present moment. But what if the true richness of life isn't hidden in the grand milestones, but in the small, unnoticed moments that quietly pass us by? A shared laugh, a warm meal, a peaceful breath. From a Buddhist lens, this very moment, now, is the only thing that's real. The past has dissolved, the future hasn't arrived. What we have right here and now is a fleeting but powerful opportunity to live deeply, fully, and meaningfully. We often regret the things we didn't do, the words we never spoke, the trips we kept delaying, the love we held back. And by the time we're ready, life may have already moved on. So don't wait for the perfect time to appreciate the ones you love. Don't wait to follow that dream or to offer that hug. Now is the moment. This breath, this step, this choice. Living meaningfully doesn't mean doing more. It means being more present. It's not about rushing toward a perfect life, but awakening to the one you already have. Even in the chaos, even in uncertainty, there is beauty waiting to be noticed. The more you honor the present, the more you'll realize this is not just another ordinary day. This is your life unfolding, and every moment matters. Forgetting is often misunderstood. We think it means erasing, pretending something never happened, or denying the impact of what hurt us. But true forgetting, spiritual forgetting, is not about losing memory. It's about loosening the grip that memory has on our soul. Some experiences leave behind invisible bruises. They linger, not on the surface, but deep in the heart, and the more we replay them, the tighter we hold on, the heavier they become. A past heartbreak, a word we never expected, a goodbye that came too soon. We carry these fragments like stones in a backpack, wondering why life feels so heavy. But what if peace isn't about holding on, but learning to let go? Buddhism teaches us that clinging is the root of suffering. When we cling to old stories, to identities built from pain, we trap ourselves in a cycle of reliving what's already gone. Letting go doesn't mean the pain never happened. It means it no longer defines you. Like a wound, if left untouched, it will slowly heal. But if we keep picking at it, it will never close. Forgetting, in its most compassionate form, is allowing the heart to breathe again. It's whispering to yourself, that chapter is closed. I choose peace over bitterness. I choose freedom over attachment. When you release what was never meant to stay, you make space for something more beautiful to enter. Let the wind carry it. Let time soften its edges. Let your heart be as open as the sky, where no clouds linger forever. Because what's truly yours will remain, not in memory, but in presence. And what's not meant for you will drift away, like a leaf on the breeze. There comes a point in life where we realize not everything is meant to be carried. Some things, words said in anger, people who walked away, dreams that didn't come true, are not meant to stay with us forever, and holding on to them, even silently, is like tying stones to our wings and wondering why we can't fly. Letting go is not weakness, it is strength, a quiet, sacred strength. It's choosing to protect your peace more than your pride. It's looking at the past with soft eyes and saying, "You taught me, and now I release you." People who've weathered life's storms often walk with a calmness that others can't explain. They no longer sweat the small stuff, no longer react to every minor wave, because they've learned what truly matters. They understand that peace doesn't come from clinging, but from releasing. Like a boat that drops its heavy cargo, they begin to rise and glide across the waters of life with ease. In Buddhist practice, letting go is not about giving up, it's about trusting. Trusting that what is meant for you will stay, that what leaves is making space for something more aligned, and most of all, trusting yourself, that you can survive, heal, and thrive without carrying the burdens that no longer serve you. So let go of the guilt, the overthinking, the invisible expectations you've placed upon your shoulders. Let go of the need to control what was never yours to control. Let the wind take what needs to go. Let time gently erase what is no longer needed, and allow your heart, finally, to feel light again. Because when your heart is no longer entangled, life becomes softer. You float, not because the world changed, but because you did. There's something quietly powerful about people who've walked through life's fiercest storms and still choose to move with grace. You can see it in their eyes, not the absence of pain, but the presence of understanding. They've stopped fighting what they can't control. They've stopped chasing what was never theirs to keep. Instead, they walk with a kind of softness, born not from fragility, but from deep, hard-earned wisdom. They've learned that not everything broken needs fixing, that not every goodbye is a loss, that sometimes life's harshest winds don't come to destroy, but to clear the path ahead. Those who've endured heartbreak, disappointment, and the ache of letting go often no longer cling to the small things. They don't get caught up in trivial dramas or meaningless arguments. They understand that peace is a treasure, too costly to sacrifice for temporary emotion. They've stopped blaming, stopped asking why, and instead, they've started breathing again. From a Buddhist perspective, this kind of clarity comes only through experience. Suffering isn't meant to punish, it's meant to awaken. The storms don't leave us the same. They strip away illusions, attachments, and everything that no longer serves our becoming. And what's left is a self that is lighter, clearer, and ready to live more mindfully. So if you've been through your own storms, don't see them as scars. See them as sacred marks of growth. See your past not as something to erase, but as something that brought you home, to yourself. And the more you release what once weighed you down, the more space you'll have for peace, joy, and a freedom that no one can take away. The past has a strange way of staying alive, not because it's real now, but because we keep breathing life into it. We replay old conversations. We relive the pain. We revisit memories that no longer serve us, and in doing so, we abandon the one place we're meant to be, the present. But something beautiful happens when we choose to stop clinging to what's already gone. We begin to remember ourselves, who we are beyond the pain, beyond the identity we built around what hurt us. We start to reclaim the energy that was once trapped in grief, regret, or longing. In Buddhist thought, our suffering isn't caused by what happened, but by our refusal to let it go. When we stop anchoring ourselves to old wounds, we start to float again. Not because life gets easier, but because we become lighter. Like a bird released from a cage of its own making, our heart begins to rediscover its natural state, freedom. You weren't born to be a prisoner of memory. You were born to grow, to move, to love again. And yes, some dreams were left unfinished. Some wishes were never fulfilled. But in their place, new dreams are waiting, wiser, deeper, more aligned with who you've become. So take this moment to pause, breathe, let go, not because the past didn't matter, but because your peace matters more. The past will never be whole again, but your present can be. And when you choose to live fully here, now, you give yourself the greatest gift, a life no longer defined by what was. How often do we catch ourselves believing that peace is somewhere else, in a new relationship, a bigger home, a quieter town, or even in the presence of someone who finally gets us? We chase it endlessly, imagining that one day, when the circumstances are just right, when life finally aligns, we'll exhale and feel whole. But here's the truth that Buddhist wisdom has taught for centuries. Peace isn't out there. It doesn't live in a person, a place, or a perfect moment. It's not something you can purchase, earn, or even find. Peace is something you uncover by returning to yourself. Many of us spend years hoping someone else, a partner, a friend, even a spiritual teacher, will fill the silence within. We long for comfort, reassurance, someone to carry our fears and make sense of our chaos. But no one can walk through our inner world for us. They can stand beside us, but they cannot give us what only we can grow: inner steadiness. True peace arises the moment we stop outsourcing our happiness and begin tending to the garden of our own soul. It doesn't mean you'll never feel lonely or lost. It means that even in those moments, you will not abandon yourself. You'll sit beside your sorrow with compassion. You'll breathe through your restlessness. You'll trust that no matter how loud the world gets, there is a silence inside of you that cannot be disturbed. Like a stone resting at the bottom of a lake, still, grounded, unaffected by the waves above, you too can live anchored in calm no matter what rises around you. That is real peace, and it has been inside you all along. Real freedom doesn't come from having everything under control. It comes from no longer needing to. It's not found in achieving perfection or in making life bend to your will. True freedom is born the moment you let go of expectations, of comparisons, of the idea that things must happen exactly as you planned. We live in a world that glorifies holding on. Hold on to dreams, hold on to people, hold on to success. But holding on too tightly often becomes the very reason we suffer. Like gripping a burning coal, the tighter you hold, the more you hurt. In Buddhist wisdom, the path to peace is paved not by clinging, but by surrender. A gentle release of what no longer serves your soul. Letting go doesn't mean you no longer care. It means you care enough about your well-being to stop feeding what drains you. It's trusting that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and what is not meant for you cannot be held, no matter how tightly you grasp. There is a soft, sacred kind of power in choosing to walk away, not from life, but from illusion, from trying to be everything to everyone, from trying to fix what was never yours to fix. When you no longer define your worth by how much you carry, you begin to feel weightless. And that lightness, that's your true self, finally breathing again. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility or pain. It's the presence of a calm, accepting heart that no longer resists the flow of life. It's saying yes to what is, no to what harms, and maybe to what's unknown. It's living gently, openly, and rooted in the quiet truth that you are already whole, even as things change. So breathe in, and on the exhale, let go. That is the beginning of your freedom. We often think forgiveness is something we give to others, that by forgiving we're letting them off the hook, excusing what they did, or pretending it didn't hurt. But the truth is, forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. Forgiveness is the moment you stop letting what hurt you continue to have power over you. It's the quiet decision to stop bleeding from a wound that someone else caused. It's choosing your peace over your pain, your freedom over your fury. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You see, the person who hurt you may have moved on. They may not carry the memory like you do. But if you keep revisiting the wound, replaying the betrayal, clinging to the resentment, you suffer again and again, long after the moment has passed. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It means you choose not to suffer twice. And it's not weakness, it's strength. It takes incredible courage to look at what broke you and say, "This no longer defines me. I release it, not for you, but for me." When you forgive, you drop the heavy chain wrapped around your heart. You begin to breathe again, smile again. In Buddhist practice, forgiveness is a doorway to compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. You realize that we all suffer. We all make mistakes. We all carry wounds we don't speak of. And when you open your heart just enough to release the bitterness, you give yourself the gift of lightness, a heart no longer bound by anger. So if you're holding something heavy today, ask yourself gently, is this still helping me? If not, maybe today is the day you begin to let it go, not because they deserve your forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. In a world that moves fast and speaks loudly, stillness feels almost rebellious. We're taught to respond, to react, to hustle, but in the teachings of mindfulness and Buddhism, stillness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. There is a silence that isn't empty. It's full of answers. A kind of quiet that doesn't isolate but connects you back to yourself. When you become still, even for a few moments, you begin to hear the soft whispers of your heart, the wounds that haven't yet healed, the dreams you buried under noise, the truths you've been too busy to feel. Most people are afraid of silence because it reveals what distraction tries to hide. But if you stay with it, if you breathe into the discomfort, you'll begin to uncover something sacred, clarity. In stillness, you realize what actually matters. You stop chasing shadows and start seeing the light within you. Think of a muddy river. The more you stir it, the cloudier it gets. But if you let it sit, the water clears on its own. The same is true with your mind. When you pause, when you stop needing to rush ahead, the chaos settles and your wisdom rises. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means being fully present with whatever is. It's watching a sunset without needing to take a photo. It's sipping tea in silence. It's choosing not to argue, not because you can't, but because you've made peace your priority. And in that moment of quiet, when the world around you is demanding noise, you stand grounded, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who finally knows how to listen. When was the last time you truly checked in with yourself? Not to criticize or judge, but to simply ask, how are you? Really? In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more, and prove more, we often forget one essential truth. We are still human, and humans need gentleness. We push ourselves hard. We carry quiet burdens. We blame ourselves for things out of our control. And when life doesn't go as planned, we're often our own harshest critics. But what if the path to healing doesn't start with fixing everything, but with forgiving ourselves for not being perfect? In the teachings of mindfulness and Buddhism, compassion isn't just something we offer to others. It's something we must also offer inward. Being kind to yourself is not self-indulgent. It's sacred. It's what allows your nervous system to soften, your heart to breathe again, your soul to return home after running for too long. Give yourself permission to rest, to not have all the answers, to fail and start over, to cry, to be tired, to take a deep breath without feeling guilty for pausing. No one can sustain endless motion. Even the waves retreat, even the sun sets. The truth is, the more you embrace your humanness, the more room you make for joy, for peace, for true growth. You are not here to be flawless. You are here to be whole. So let go of the voice that says you're behind, you're not enough, you're too much, and instead gently whisper to yourself, I'm doing the best I can, and that's more than enough. Because when you're gentle with yourself, life becomes gentler too. And that, dear soul, is a beautiful place to begin. We spend so much of our lives chasing big things, big love, big success, big moments that we hope will finally make us feel alive. But when the noise quiets and the crowd fades, we often realize that those big moments are fleeting. What truly stays with us are the small, quiet things, the ones we were too busy to notice. Happiness isn't always wrapped in applause or accomplishment. Sometimes it's a warm cup of tea held with both hands. Sometimes it's the sound of rain tapping on the window while you read a favorite book. Sometimes it's simply waking up without anxiety, taking a deep breath, and realizing you're still here. In the teachings of mindfulness and Buddhist simplicity, joy is not something we seek. It's something we notice. It's already present. It lives in the ordinary. It whispers through everyday moments that ask nothing of us except to be fully there. Many people who have everything, the money, the fame, the admiration, still feel a deep emptiness inside. That's because happiness doesn't come from how much you accumulate, but from how deeply you appreciate. You can have very little and still feel rich. You can have everything and still feel hollow. So maybe happiness is not about getting more, but wanting less, not about chasing pleasure, but embracing presence, not in reaching for stars, but in feeling the sunlight on your skin. The truth is, life is already offering you 1,000 small blessings every day. You just have to slow down enough to see them. Let this moment be enough. Let this breath, this stillness, this life as it is be worthy of your gratitude. Because when you learn to love the little things, you'll realize they were never little at all. We often imagine peace as a destination, a quiet cottage in the woods, a future where everything is finally okay, a version of ourselves untouched by pain. But true peace doesn't wait for life to become perfect. It's not something you arrive at. It's something you carry within, wherever you go. Freedom isn't about escaping the world. It's about walking through it with a heart that no longer clings, no longer resists, no longer fears the impermanence of all things. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that storms may come, but your roots go deeper than the wind. In Buddhist practice, we're reminded the past is unchangeable, the future is uncertain, but this moment, this breath, is yours. And that's where your power lies, not in controlling everything, but in choosing how gently you respond. Not in having more, but in needing less. Not in running from pain, but in making peace with it. Living a free and peaceful life doesn't mean you'll never feel sadness, anger, or loss. It means you won't be ruled by them. It means waking up with intention, breathing through discomfort, letting go when it's time, and returning to yourself when the world becomes too loud. Even the falling leaf teaches us. Don't regret the season that has passed. Even the setting sun reminds us nothing lasts forever, and that's what makes it precious. So slow down, let go, feel the wind on your face, sip your tea a little slower, watch the sky change without needing to capture it. That is peace, that is freedom, that is life, lived fully and without regret. If these words have touched something quiet inside you, pause for a moment, take a breath, let the peace settle gently into your heart, because that, more than anything, is why this message was created. Not to convince you of anything, but to remind you of what you already carry within: resilience, beauty, and the power to choose peace, right here, right now. If this video has brought you a moment of stillness or clarity, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, even just a few heartfelt words. Your story, your silence, your journey may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you feel called, please support this space by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, or sharing it with someone who may be seeking comfort or reflection in the midst of life's noise. Each time you do, you're not just supporting a message, you're helping to create a small ripple of calm in a very loud world. Remember, peace doesn't come all at once. It comes in quiet choices, in moments of awareness, and in communities like this, built on compassion and intention. Thank you for walking this path with me. May your heart be light, may your days be gentle, and may you always find your way back to yourself. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind,